Solid Foundation Israelite Academy 2019. What's up, Facebook, family and friends? Coming at you guys with another late night video. I am your host, S.F.I.A Israel. All right, so the topic of discussion is going to be providing. The topic of discussion will be providing. So I'm going to talk about how a man should provide for his household. Okay? If you are a man, if you are married, if you have children, then most definitely you're supposed to provide for your household. We see Josh Bussey. We thank you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in once again. Peace, love, and respect to you guys on the other side. I hope all is well with you, Joshua Bussey, man. I hope you are progressing in life. And like I said, just stay elevating, man. So once again, Josh Bussey, my man, glad to have you on tonight, my brother. And once again, the topic of discussion is providing. If you are married and you have children, a man supposed to provide for his household. Okay. Now, what provide means? All right. So I'm going to get right into the lesson. What provide means? I'm typing in provide now. I shouldn't have to explain what provide means. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and define it. Provide definition. So let's look at it. It says provide. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it. It says provide. When you provide, you make available for use. Supply. These are synonyms for the term provide. Provide means to supply. Provide means to give. Provide means to issue. Provide means to furnish. Okay. So if you are a man and you are married and you have children, you supposed to supply your family, give, issue, furnish your family with what they need. Okay. This is the duty of a man that's married and have children, that has a family structure. You're supposed to supply, give, issue, furnish. You're supposed to provide. All right. Because there's a lot of men out here that have wives and children and they are not providing for their household. All right. They're not providing. So I want to do this video in terms of providing. So what you're going to need, brothers and sisters, is a Bible. You know, I don't do videos without the King James Bible. You know, I don't do videos without going into the Bible. So you're going to need a KJV. If you don't have the King James, any moderate Bible would do if you don't have King James. So let's go into the scriptures and see in terms of providing. Okay. So Exodus 21 and 10. So this is Exodus 21 and 10. Exodus in the Old Testament, Exodus 21 and 10. All right. Because if you are a man and you have children and you have a wife, you're supposed to be holding up your family, man. A man is the governor. A man's supposed to be the government of his family structure. A man's supposed to be the government of his household. And if you're a man and you have children and a wife, you're supposed to be there for your wives and your children. All right. You're supposed to uphold your family structure. You're supposed to man up. This is Exodus 21 and 10. All right. Now let me show you something. Exodus 21 and 10. Exodus 21 and 10. It says, if he take him another wife, you see, her food and her raiment and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Because we know that polygamy, is nothing wrong with polygamy, because many guys back in ancient times married more than just, one woman. Back in the ancient times, you had kings and you had many men that had more than one wife. So polygamy is not wrong. But like I said, in marriage in general, if you get you a wife, if you take a wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So you're supposed to provide. Joshua Bussey, you're supposed to provide for your wife. If you're married, you're supposed to provide for your wife and your children. Because Mac Doc Anderson, if you are married, you're supposed to provide for your wife and your children. There's a lot of deadbeat dads out here, man, that are not stepping up and manning up. They not stepping up, and they not fulfilling their position, man. So this lesson is really strictly for the guys, because I want to put this out here in the atmosphere in terms of providing. If you are a young man, whether you young or old, if you're a young man or old man, you married and have children, you're supposed to take responsibility, hands down. All right. So Exodus 21:10. Let's look at that once more. Exodus 21:10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Now let me show you 1 Timothy 5:8. All right. So let's go to the New Testament, 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. And this is all in reference to a man holding his house down. 1 Timothy 5:8. Some niggas out here don't even care about their children. They got children, but they don't give a damn about their children. You got a lot of niggas out here that won't man up, still acting childish, and not really supporting and holding their children down. And they not even holding their wives down. This is 1 Timothy 5:8. Check this one out. 1 Timothy 5:8. This is in the New Testament. 1 Timothy 5:8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he have denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. If any, that's talking about men. If any man provide not for his own, that means you're not holding your house down. You're not holding your children down. You're not holding your wife down. You're a savage. You are double-minded. You unstable. You confused. You don't have yourself together. But if any man provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, that means you can't even hold your house together. He has denied the faith, and it's worse than an infidel. An infidel is an unbeliever. So, like I said, there's a lot of men out here, Joshua Bussey, Mac, Doc, Anderson, there's a lot of men out here that's not, they not manning up and they not playing their position, man. They not manning up, they not playing their position. They not, a lot of these brothers out here, they don't have decent jobs. They trying to get a fast dollar. They trying to get a fast dollar. If you know what I'm talking about. They have like 4 or 5 children and they're still acting childish. They still running around. Still out here trying to get a piece of ass with 4 or 5 children. Still out here trying to, get this set and that set when they got children. Still going to the club. Still going to the damn club and they got children. And they got a wife. A lot of men still want to go to the club and they got children and a wife. If you have a wife and children, the club should be the last damn thing on your mind, man. The club is for the youth. The club is for the younger ones. You 58 years old, you still in a goddamn club. That don't make any sense. We got to man up because we don't, like I said, in today's time, in the here and now, trying to find a good man is scarce. Trying to find, especially a spiritual man that's in the scriptures, a spiritual man that's striving to please the Lord, and a spiritual man that's willing to die for his own. Those type of men are very hard to find in these moderate times. Okay? Because a lot of men, they don't want to own up. They don't want to man up. They don't want to be a true father to their children. They don't want to be a true husband to their wives. This is what this lesson all about. To teach you niggas out here to man up. To teach you niggas out here to take care of your children and hold your wife down like you're supposed to. All right, let's go to another book, chapter, and verse in the Bible, man. We showed you once again. Let's go over this for the last time. 1 Timothy 5:8. But if any provide not for his own, this is a sorry ass man. That's what that means. But if any provide not for his own, you're not holding your children down. You're not holding your wife down. You provide not for your own. Some sorry ass niggas out here that's living in a house with no lights. Can't even pay the water bill because you don't even have a decent job. You're not even trying to find a job. But you want to gang, bang, and slang. You see, you out here trying to get a piece of ass. But you can't provide not for your own. These sorry ass niggas out here, man. But if any provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, you can't even hold your house together. He have denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So guys, if you play in your position, I'm not talking about you. If you play in your position and you know you play in your position and you know you doing what you're supposed to be doing as a father figure, you know, as a husband, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to these sorry ass niggas out here, man, that got children in all different locations by different women and think life is a damn joke and don't want to man up. This is who I'm talking about. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go back to Genesis. We got to go back into the beginning because we must see what did the Heavenly Father say in the beginning of time about a man and a woman. So let's go back into the book of Genesis. All right. Now, Genesis chapter 1. This is in the Old Testament. Genesis chapter 1. All right, and I believe this is Genesis chapter 1. I could be wrong. Well, for the sake of time, let me tell you. For the sake of time, there is something I want to go over in chapter 1. But let's skip over to chapter 2. So let's skip over to Genesis chapter 2. And let's, for the sake of time, let's skip over to Genesis chapter 2. And let's look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 21. Now watch this. So this is Genesis 2 and 21. I will begin to read from there. Genesis 2 and 21. I want to indicate something, guys. Okay. All right. Mac Doc Anderson, Makisha Thrower, if I'm saying that right, Joshua Bussey, Genesis 2 and 21. It says, and the Most High, the Lord God, the powers of the Lord God, caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept. Basically, he went into a trance. Basically like a dream, like a typical dream. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh thereof. Now, he didn't take a literal rib because a lot of individuals believe. All right, guys. Is I'm connected? I'm losing connection. I'm losing connection. Don't want to lose connection. Okay, I'm just checking to see if I'm connected. I'm losing connection. My phone is malfunctioning. Sorry for the lagging of the phone, but I'm losing connection. So I'm going to make this quick, guys. All right. Sorry for the inconvenience. Genesis, okay. Genesis 2:21. And the Lord God caused the deep sleep to fall upon Adam. Adam fell into a dream state. He had a dream. He had a dream about the Most High took one of his close relatives and basically united one of his close relatives to him. So that's all what it's talking about when he say he took one of his ribs and closed the flesh up instead thereof, meaning that the Most High caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep, like a dream. And in this dream, he saw a vision of a close relative being united to him. That's all. Genesis 2:22. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from the man, that's a close relative, not an actual rib. A close relative out of Adam's lineage. Maybe Adam married his cousin or something. You see, maybe Adam married one of his close relatives. To make a long story short, Adam married one of his close relatives. The close relative is likened into a rib. All right, so Genesis 2:22. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman and brought her into the man. Now listen up, Genesis 2:23. And Adam said, this is now bones of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. You see. Now, Genesis 2:24. Listen up. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So what does that mean, guys? Genesis 2:24 says a man. Genesis 2:24. Genesis 2:24 says, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother. So that's a damn shame if you married and you still staying in the house with your father and your mother. That's a damn shame. Especially if you got children. If you are married and you got children and you still staying in the house with your mother and father, that's ridiculous, man. That's sadistic. That's horrendous, man. Because Genesis 2:24 says, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Meaning to be in one agreement, because you can never actually be one flesh. That means to be in terms of agreement. So a man shall leave his father and mother. So when you got that particular woman out there that you ready to tie the knot with, you got to be established, man. Because first and foremost, you want to throw a ring on it, you got to be established. You got to have your own house, your own job, your own car, things in that nature. You got to be established. You go and marry a woman and bring this woman in among your mother and father. And then you have children from this woman still staying on your mother and father. You know what I'm saying? That's sad as hell, man. But a lot of niggas out here got children, right? And married and been staying with their mom and daddy for years. Niggas ain't trying to get out on their own and get what's on their own. All right, Genesis 2:25. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed. You see that? So I just wanted to go over Genesis 2:24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother. So when you truly establish and you ready to tie the knot with that woman you love, your mother and father, you're not supposed to be living among your mother and father. You're supposed to have your own shit. Excuse my French. So let's go further on with the lesson. Lakeisha Thrower, Gerard Roper, Mac Doc Anderson, Joshua Bussett. All right? Because we're talking about basically providing, how a man's supposed to provide for his family structure. All right. So we're gonna look at let's look at Hebrews. Let's look at Hebrews 13 and 4. Like I say, I'm just browsing around. Hebrews 13 and 4. I'm just flowing in the spirit, man. All right. Hebrews 13 and 4, it says, marriage is honorable. Now, what is marriage? Marriage is sexual intercourse. Because marriage is not going to the courthouse. Marriage is not standing before the priest. Marriage is not dealing with walking down the aisle and you got the ring bearer and the flower girl and the best man and all this shit. That ain't dealing with true biblical marriage. True biblical marriage is sex, man. True biblical marriage is sex. That's why it's known as marriage, because it's mar age. Mar means to cut at a particular age. So basically you do what? You take that woman's flowers at a particular age. Marriage. Marriage is dealing with sex. It's not dealing with what you've been taught today in terms of marriage, because we're talking about the biblical perspective of marriage, which is sex. So basically sex is honorable. And all in the bed undefiled, because when you're married, what goes on in your bed, that's between you and your lover. It says, but whoremongers and adulterers God would judge. See that? A whoremonger is like a pimp. That's a whoremonger. A whoremonger is a pimp. A particular man who sells women for sexual gain. A particular man who goes and prostitute women for financial gain. That's a whoremonger. Like a pimp that sells whores. All right. And adultery. You know what adultery is? An adulterer is an unfaithful spouse. Basically a man that runs around on his wife, or a wife that runs around on her husband. That's an adulterer. It says God would judge. What that means when it says God would judge? It says whoremongers and adulterers God would judge. What does that mean? That means whoremongers and adulterers is going to be put to death. That's what judgment means. When it says God would judge, that means a lot of you niggas out there that's whoremongering and committing adultery, God going to put you niggas to death. That's what that means. All right? Straight up, man. So we can see that sex, which is marriage, that's honorable. That's honorable. And the Most High, he honors marriage, which is sex. And the bed is undefiled. That means that your bed is not tainted. Your bed is purified through marriage. Your bed is purged through marriage. It's undefiled. That means it's not tainted. And whatever you want to do in your bed, you can do in your bed, between you and your husband, between husband and wife. Whatever the hell they want to do in their bedroom, the bed is undefiled. Long as marriage is involved, the bed is undefiled. Right? So we're talking about marriage, right? Now watch this. We're talking about marriage. So when you marry this woman, right? When you go and take this woman, you marry this woman. Let's go to Exodus 22 and 16. Let's go back into the Old Testament. Exodus 22 and 16. You can do whatever the hell you want to do in your bed. Don't let a nigga tell you that you limited. You can do whatever the hell you want to do to your spouse. The bed is undefiled. All right? That if you married. All right, guys? Men out there, women out there. Okay? Exodus 22 and 16. It says, and if a man entice a maid, now a maid is a young woman, like a virgin. Some is called damsels. So if a man entice a young woman that is a maid, a young woman, because back in the biblical times, you guys must enter and understand. Back in the biblical times, back in the ancient times, the Bible days, the woman got married at a very young age. Like a woman got married like after 12 or 13 years old. Back in biblical times. woman married around the age of 12 and 13, like right after puberty, that's when a woman married a man. And back in biblical times, if you was a man and you wanted the wife, you had to at least be 20 years, you had to be at least 20 years or older. If you was a man back in the Bible days and you wanted to marry a particular woman, you had to be at least 20 years or over before you can marry. That woman had to be at least 12 or 13 or right after puberty. Basically, like right when she came on her menstrual. Back in the biblical times, when a woman came on her menstrual cycle, better yet known as a period, she was considered a grown woman. And at that particular moment, like if you was a young woman and you came on your menstrual cycle, you was considered a grown woman. And if a man is 20 years or older, if he desired you, he can have sex with you and marry you. That was back in the biblical time. So actually, you know, you had women back in the Bible days. Woman wasn't waiting until they was not waiting until they was 18 years or older or 21 years or older back in biblical time. They didn't wait that long. They married men soon as puberty. Soon as their puberty hit, or like from 12 to 13 on out, they married back then. Okay, so this is Exodus 22 and 16. Now it says, if a man entice a maid, now that means the spit game. You know what I'm saying? You might see a shorty you like. You might see a beautiful young woman that you want to spit game to. And this is Exodus 22 and 16. If a man entice a maid, basically, you go up to her and you spit game to her. You go to conversating with her. Y'all got y'all a nice little conversation going. If you entice a maid, a young woman that is not betrothed, that means she's not engaged. So if a particular man wanted to spit game to a young woman that was not engaged, and he lied with her, basically, she's not engaged. They messed around and had sex. He laid on her back. He popped it. He lied with her. After you have sex, after you take her virginity, after you take that maid, that young woman's virginity, after you pop her cherry, pop her hymen, after you take her virginity, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. See that? Because sex is marriage. This is what I'm trying to tell you. So back in the biblical times, it was not no fucking and leaving. You didn't beat the pussy and left. You didn't beat the pussy and leave. Joshua Bussey, Mac Doc Anderson, Makisha Thrower. Back in biblical times, men wasn't just fucking women and leaving them like they do today. A lot of men today is just fucking the woman and nutting in their mouth and nutting on them and leaving them, whatever. You know how I go down today. Fucking just nut in her face and leave her. They wasn't doing that shit back in the biblical times, man. Because if you took a young woman that was not betrothed, that was not engaged, and you had sex with that young woman back in biblical times, that woman became your wife and you could not put that woman away. You had to be together until death back in biblical times. That's how it went. Now today, they not doing that today. They just snatching up these young girls and just fucking them and getting their dick sucked and just pushing them to the side. They didn't do that back in biblical times. This generation don't know what the hell is going on because they haven't been taught this. So guys, I'm trying to show you the over-entering understanding of this, man. If you lay a woman on her back, you got to take responsibility. If you lay a woman on her back, and if you go inside of her, you got to take responsibility of that woman you screwed. You just can't lay her on her back and get your nut all on her face and tell her to wipe it off and send on her way. You can't do that. If you lay that woman on her back and you pop that woman, if that woman is a virgin, and you take her virginity, you got to man up because that's your wife and you as her husband. All right? This is what I'm trying to tell y'all guys. This is 1 Corinthians 7 and 36. Because I did this lesson long time ago. 1 Corinthians 7:36. I did this lesson long time ago. I'm doing a review on Facebook. 1 Corinthians 7:36. But if any man think that he behaves himself uncommonly, that means your pecker go to rising up. That means you meet this woman for the very first time. Let's say, for instance, y'all are dating, right? You go out on a date, right? Y'all get the kind of bumping and grinding and rubbing on each other. And this man, he can't keep his composure. This particular man can't keep his composure because his dick go to rising up. It says, but if any man think that he behave himself uncommonly, that means you can't keep your composure. You ain't got no self-control. She touching all on you and your dick is hard. If he think that he cannot behave himself uncommonly towards his virgin, now keep in mind, this is a virgin. So this ain't like no woman that don't have 5 or 6 niggas. This ain't like no woman that got children already. No, this is a virgin. This woman has never had sex. This brother is going out with a woman that has never had sex, which is a virgin. They go to touching and rubbing and his dick get hard. And if he cannot behave himself towards this young woman, which is a virgin, if she passed the flower of her age. Now, what is the flower of her age? That means whatever age her period comes on. If she passed the flower of her age, let's say, for instance, a girl gets her period around the age of 12 or 13. Whatever age her period comes on, from that particular age, she is considered a grown woman. Whatever age her period come on, I don't give a damn. Let me tell you something. I don't give a damn if her period came on at the age of 11. Back in biblical times, whatever age you got your flowers, whatever age your period came on, you was considered a grown woman. Because that lets you know, when your period come on, that lets you know that you are capable of having children. That lets you know now you can become impregnated by the sperm cell of a man. I don't give a damn if you was 12 years old and your period came on. Back in the biblical times, you were considered a grown woman, because that lets you automatically enter and understand, that lets you see that if your period on, a man's sperm cell can get you pregnant, can impregnate the egg cell. Because what is a period? A period is when the woman is passing eggs from her ovaries. She goes on a cycle every 28 days. From 27 to every 28 days, a woman will go on a menstrual cycle. And what happens? She passes the eggs from her ovaries. And if those eggs encounter with the sperm cell of a man, it creates fertilization, which creates a child. So back in biblical times, whatever age a woman flowers came on, she was considered automatically a grown woman. So stop telling these young girls, stop telling these young girls, you got these young girls today, they may be 12 or 13, and their period might come on around the age of 12 and 13, and you still telling them that they are little girls. You still trying to treat them like a little girl. From the time a woman period come on, she better start womaning up. She better take responsibility, and she better mature fast. Because you're not a little girl no more when your period comes on. You're not this little Barbie doll anymore when your period comes on. When a woman period come on, I don't give a damn what age a girl is. When her period comes on, automatically that's a sign from God to let her know that she is considered to be a grown woman, because she can become impregnated by the sperm cell of a man. 1 Corinthians 36, but if any man thinks that he behave himself uncommonly towards his virgin, you got this woman, y'all never had sex, you got this virgin woman, and you can't contain, you want to have sex. Long as she passed the flower of her age. If she passed the flower of her age and needs so require, let him do what he will. He sinned not. Let him marry. Let them marry. That means let them have sex. Long as that woman passed the flower of her age, and long as that man is over the age of 20 years old, I don't give a damn what age that woman come on her period. Long as that man is over the age of 20 years old, it says let them marry. They can have sex. See? So if a woman came on her period at the age of 13, long as that man was 20 years or older, that man can take that 13-year-old girl and he can marry that girl. In other words, he can have sex with that 13-year-old girl and bear children from that 13-year-old girl. You can't do that shit today because the government calls this statutory rape. If you try to do this shit today, you're going to be jailed for doing that because the government looks at this as statutory rape. So you can't do this bullshit today. They did that back in the Bible times. They call it statutory rape because it's not God's statutes. It's the government statute. It's the white man's statutes. The white man came up with this bullshit. But back in biblical times, woman was marrying men at a very young age. But in America today, they make you wait until you like 18 and 21 years or older. See, after you 18 years or older in America, if you 18 years or older in America, you are considered an adult. If you 18 years or older in America, they try you as an adult. Back in biblical times, soon as your damn period came on, you was considered a grown woman. Back in biblical times, long as a man was over 20 years or older, he was considered a grown man. You see that, guys? So like I said, man, I'm just laying it down to you, man. We got to take responsibility, guys. And we got to be the man that the Bible calls us to be. We got to provide for our wives and our children, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to provide for our wives and our children. I wish I can go over a lot of precepts, man. I really wish I can go over a lot of book chapters and verses in the Bible, but it's getting way too late, guys. I got to hit the clock early tomorrow. Got to get up. Got to go to work. And so just take what you have thus heard so far and just help others with this knowledge because, yeah, we got to man up. No doubt. We got to provide. I think I will give you one more book, chapter, and verse, and that will be it. All right. So let's go to Psalms 127, verse 3. Psalms 127, verse 3. Psalms 127, verse 3. Psalms 127, verse 3. All right. It says, Psalms 127, verse 3. Lo, children are inheritance. Children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. See, so it's just more than just fucking a woman. It's more than just getting your dick sucked. All right? I'm talking to you guys out here. Matthew Dodd Anderson. All right? Gerard Roper, Joshua Bussey. It's more than just hitting the pussy. It's more than just getting dick sucked, man. It says, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. So you know what that means? That means when you lie your old lady down on her back and you go in that thing, you smash that thing, you beat that thing up real good. You know what? Right? You lie your woman on her back, you beat her up real good, and let's just say you skeeted off in it. You skeeted in it. And then she ends up pregnant. Well, you got to be there for that child. Because guess what? If you help make the child, you got to be there for the child. Because children don't ask to come into this world. It's through our sexual relations that we create children. So these children don't ask to be here. But if you're a young man and you lie that woman down on her back and you end up getting that woman pregnant and she bears your child, then it's only necessary for you to take care of something that you helped create. But a lot of niggas ain't doing that. Because soon as the woman tell these guys, I'm pregnant, the first damn thing come out of their goddamn mouth is it's not mine. Oh, it ain't mine. But you didn't think about that when you were smashing it. You didn't think about that when you were hitting them corners. You see what I'm saying? So guys, let's man up. Let's provide. Now I can see if the woman is not faithful and she been running around She been running around with Tom, Dick, and Harry, fucking all these niggas and don't know really, can't really say the baby is yours, then I understand in that case. Because then you should go get a DNA test to see if the baby is yours. And remember, don't sign that goddamn birth certificate until you know that the baby is yours. Until that DNA test say 99.9%. Don't sign that birth certificate until you know the baby is yours. All right? Psalms 127 verse 3. It says that, man, the fruit of the womb is his reward. So, like I say, you want to have a good time with your old lady, go ahead and do so. But if you end up getting her pregnant, you end up getting her pregnant, the fruit of the womb is your reward. You end up getting her pregnant, that's your children that you created, and that should be your reward. The fruit of her womb, which is her children, shall be your reward. A lot of niggas don't even like this. A lot of niggas don't even want a reward. They don't even want children. Let me tell you. A lot of niggas don't even want children. I don't understand that. Because you get a particular age where you want to slow down, man. You want to have something. You get a particular, you get tired of fucking these bitches, man. You get tired of running around. You get tired of being a player. You get to that particular level in your life where you want, look, man, I want to have some children. Couple boys, couple girls running around in the yard. A lovely wife. I want to slow down and have a family. Some niggas don't even consider that. You feel me? So if you lay your woman down on her back and you end up getting her pregnant, man, the fruit of her womb shall be your reward. You shouldn't regret that. If anything, regret the sex. You shouldn't regret the child. Nigga, regret the sex. Some niggas be regretting their children. If you gonna regret anything, regret the goddamn sex. Come on, man. Let's man up, man. Let's provide, man. You help getting these children. You bring these children in the world, and then you fuck around and can't take care of them. And then now DFATs got to come and confiscate your children. And then if not DFATs confiscating your children in a goddamn orphanage somewhere. They in the orphanage. Because these sorry ass niggas couldn't even provide for something they helped create. And that's a goddamn coward. So if you out there, man, and you fucking off and you fucking around, and if you out there and you know that you're supposed to be the father to your children and you're supposed to be the husband to your wife, man the fuck up, man. Because I'm going to give it to you straight up and raw. You already know. I'm not going to preach in no goddamn suit and take your money every Sunday. Because I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that to get my point over. All right? So, guys, I hope enough was said. Joshua Bussey, Matthew Dow Anderson, Makisha Thrower, Gerard Roper. I hope enough was said. Yeah, man. Ephesians 5 and 22. I got to bring this one out. Ephesians 5 and 22. Ephesians 5 and 22 in the New Testament. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. See, so you women got to submit yourselves to your man. Stop trying to wear the goddamn pants and the boots, because a woman is in no position to lead a household. A woman is in no position to lead, man. Wives, submit yourselves to your husbands. Now, I know that might be a hard thing for some of you women to do, because your husband might not be playing his cards right. But still, at the end of the day, man, be humble enough to submit yourselves unto your husband. And by you submitting yourself to your husband, you will see that he will begin to change. If you play your cards, you won't have to worry about him playing his cards. All you got to do, if you line up, everything around you will line up. A lot of women say, I can't submit myself to my husband because he ain't manning up. Just play your behalf. Do what you got to do. Wives, submit yourselves to your own husband. If you play your cards, he'll play his. Trust me. Ephesians 5 and 23. For the husband is the head of the wife. A woman don't run no goddamn thing. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you something. You men out here, if you letting your wife run you, you a coward. If you let your wife run you over, you a pussy. If you letting your wife run you, you is a coward, man. Because your wife don't supposed to be running the goddamn thing. You is the king. You is the governor of that household. You hold that structure up. You provide for that family. You make sure you meet the needs of that family, them children, and that wife. Your wife don't supposed to be running the goddamn thing. She's supposed to be submissive and she's supposed to be in obedience to you. She don't supposed to be running nothing. So if you letting your wife run the show, you're a coward. And you need to get some balls and you need to man up. For the husband is the head of the wife. That's why another thing, you don't supposed to have no woman preaching in the church. You don't supposed to have no woman preachers in the church. You don't even supposed to have a woman in the pulpit, period. If a woman is in the pulpit in the church, something is totally wrong. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. See that? Ephesians 5 and 24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wife be to their own husbands and everything. Let the wife be to their own husbands and everything, man. You got to be subjected to your own husbands. Ephesians 5 and 25. Then it talks about the men, because we don't get off neither. We not excluded from this. Husbands, love your wives. Husbands, love your wife. How you love your wife? You love your wife by getting your ass out and getting a job. And make sure you meet her needs. Make sure you hold her down. Make sure she has a roof over her head. Make sure she has food on the table. And make sure your children is set. That's how you love your wife. You love your wife by sacrificing a part of you to make sure she's set at the end of the day. That's how you love your wife. You ain't got to tell your wife you love her each and every day. Because if you playing your position, she gonna know that shit automatically. If you playing your cards right, you only have to tell a nigga you love him when you ain't on your shit. See, you only have to tell a woman that you love her when you ain't playing your shit right. Because that's called conviction. Because when you ain't on your game, when you ain't on your P's and Q's, you got to say you love her. You got to say that all the time because you ain't on your P's and Q's. But when you on your P's and Q's, you ain't even got to tell your woman that you love her. Because automatically, the tree is known by the fruit it bears. She gonna see your good works. She gonna see your integrity. She gonna see your honesty. She gonna see your modesty. She gonna see your hard work and effort. She gonna see that you striving. She gonna see that. So you ain't gotta tell her you love her. Vice versa. She ain't gotta tell you that she love you. Because nigga, you gonna see that. You gonna see her commitment. You gonna see how she's humble. You gonna see how she's subject to you. You gonna see how she step aside and let you lead the way. You gonna see, man, y'all gotta, this shit 50-50, man. This is duality. Both of y'all gotta play y'all cards. This shit ain't no 50-20, this 50-50, man. It takes two, man. All right? Ephesians 5 and 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church. So, men, you supposed to love your old lady. You supposed to love your wives just like Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. You supposed to be willing to give yourself as of a sacrifice to meet the needs of your wives, to meet the needs of your children. I'm talking about you men. Husbands, love your wives. How you love your wife? How you love your wife? Because it ain't about putting the dick to her all the time. It ain't about eating the pussy all the time. Licking the ass all the time. Whatever you do in bed, it ain't my damn business. But it ain't all about that all the time. But how you truly love your wife, let me show you. You love your wife by providing for her. You love your wife by supplying, giving, meeting the needs, furnishing what that family unit needs. You provide. That's how you love your wife. You can't provide for your wife? Fucking coward. I'm going to tell you right now. All you niggas out there, if you can't provide for your wife and you ain't trying to provide for your wife and kids, you a motherfucking coward, man. I'm going to tell you right now. And I'm going to tell you woman. Because you woman, you don't get off neither. If you're not playing your role, if you're not being submissive to your husband, if you being all savage, running these streets, jumping from this nigga to that nigga, and doing everything but being a virtuous woman, you a motherfucking bitch. I'm going to tell you woman just straight like that, man. All right? Because I can show you this in the scriptures. I'm not playing. I can show you this in the scriptures. I'm not playing around. This is serious, man. This is why we got so many dysfunctional families today. This is why we got so many single mothers today. So many single fathers. Because we not doing what we supposed to do according to these scriptures. Children all out of order. The family structure all out of order. Because we not doing what thus said the Lord. We not doing what these scriptures say. So if you're going to get mad with me, you're going to get mad with God. Because I'm coming from the scriptures. All right, guys? I'm coming from the scriptures, man. Let me show you something. Deuteronomy 22:5. I think I gave the wrong verse. Wait a minute. I know it's in Deuteronomy. Let's look at Deuteronomy 22. I believe it's Deuteronomy 22. Deuteronomy 23:17. Deuteronomy 23:17. There shall be no whores of the daughters of Israel. See that? And blacks, Hispanics, and Native American women, you are the modern day Israelites today, whether you believe it or not. Deuteronomy 23:17. There shall be no whores of the daughters of Israel. So it's talking about these thoughts. It's talking about these sluts, these tramps. It's talking about running around, fucking nigga over here, fucking this nigga over here for money, sucking his dick, letting him hit it from the back, doing all this shit for money. It says, there shall be no whores of the daughters of Israel. So that there shall be no sluts, there shall be no bitches among black, Hispanic, and Native American women because you the Israelites. There shall be no whores among the daughters of Israel. Because I'm going to tell you, if you out here doing this shit and you whoring around, you messing your reputation up. Last but not least, ain't no good man gonna want your ass. And if he do, all he want is a piece of ass and that's it. There should be no whores of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. And that's talking about there should be no gay men among Israel. A sodomite is someone who indulges in homosexuality. There should be no gay men among Israel. There should be no man fucking another man in his ass because that's nasty. There should be no gay men among Israel, and there should be no bitches among the daughters of Israel. All right? Like I said, man, I'm just flowing in the spirit. Like I said. So, guys, I hope you was edified with that, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a man. We got to man up. Fellas, we got to provide a man up. And also, the woman, you got to provide that if you're a single mother, you shouldn't have to provide if you are in a marriage, because even if you didn't have a job, woman, your husband should have some type of gig to hold y'all down. But it's kind of hard in today's time, because now pretty much the whole damn family got to pull together to survive and manage. But I hope this lesson was edifying to you guys. Please share this video. Makisha Thrower, Gerard Roper, Wanda Smith, Beanie Moore, Tom. Please share this video. Wesley Kenny, Ronnie Graham Jr. Please share this video, man, because a lot of man is not on it. See, I'm going to tell you, man, let me tell you something, man. We living in a simulated environment. We living in a fake environment. Everything fake here. So nobody really don't know how to be real. Everything is fake here, man. So nobody really don't know how to be real, because everything is simulated. Because only real gonna recognize real. So you gotta realize the only way you can realize is to have real eyes. That's the only way you're gonna be able to realize, is to have real eyes. Most of us don't even have real eyes. That's why we can't realize. We living in a fake, simulated world. Don't nobody want to talk about sexual relations. Don't nobody want to talk about dysfunctional families. Don't nobody want to talk about single mothers and single fathers. Don't nobody want to talk about domestic abuse. Don't nobody want to talk about child abuse. Don't nobody want to talk about divorce issues. Nobody's talking about this shit, man. Nobody is talking about this. Nobody is talking about this. So this is why I felt the need to make this video, so you guys can truly enter and understand that if you're a man, you're supposed to provide for your wife. You're supposed to provide for your lady. And if you're a woman, you're supposed to be submissive to your husbands. We out of order, man. Listen, man, I got to keep going, guys. I got to keep going just a little bit more. Let me go to Genesis. Let me tell you something. A lot of women ain't being obedient to their husbands. They not listening to their husbands. They want to wear the pants. They want to wear the boots. They want to lead. A lot of women, they don't want to be submissive to their husbands. Because guess what? The white man in this government taught you women not to be submissive to your husbands. A lot of you women, you will listen to the white man before you listen to your own damn husband. Just like going back in the book, just like going back in Genesis, dealing with Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve did not listen to her husband. Adam told Eve that God told them not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil that was in the midst of the garden. Adam literally told Eve that God told him to tell her not to eat from the tree of the garden that was in the midst of, not to eat from the tree of knowledge that was in the midst of the garden. What did Eve do? She didn't listen to Adam. Adam told Eve, God told us not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Eve did not listen to Adam. She went right over Adam's head and she hearkened to the serpent, and sin and destruction came into the earth. She didn't listen. This is why a woman's supposed to be submissive to their husbands. Especially if your husband is providing for you, you definitely supposed to be submissive. You're supposed to honor him and respect him if he's providing for you, if he's laying it down for you, man. Let me show you this, guys. Watch this. This is Genesis 3:16, man. Genesis 3:16. Genesis 3:16. And to the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow. Why? Because woman was disobedient to her husband. And thy conception. So when a woman is on the verge of giving birth to a child, she go through that crazy pain because she was disobedient to her husband. See, if a woman was obedient to her husband, she would never have to go through this painful conception. She'll push a baby right out without pain. But since a woman was disobedient to her husband, she got to go through that great pain and conception. He said, in sorrow thou shalt bring forth thy children. Now, why do a woman bring forth children in sorrow today? Why do a woman bring forth a child in all this pain today? Because she failed to listen to the man. She failed to listen to Adam. Eve failed to listen to Adam. Eve did not hearken to the instructions of Adam. And as a result, she had to go through that conception and that pain when she brought forth her children. Just like all these women today. That's how you know that Eve was not just one woman in the garden. This is exactly how you know that Eve was not just one woman in the garden. Because all women today is Eve. If you are a woman, you was known as Eve in the Bible. All you Eves go through child conception today. All you Eves bring forth your children in sorrow and pain. I don't care if it's a white woman, a black woman, a Chinese woman, a Mexican woman. You all bring forth your children in sorrow and pain. That lets you see who Eve truly is. Eve is a collective. Eve is dealing with plural. Woman of the earth is known as Eve. All the women of the earth is known as Eve. And they all bring forth their children in pain and conception. Because these Eves today didn't listen to a lot of these Adams today. All these Adams today. A lot of you Eves still today is not listening to most of these Adams today. Genesis 3:16. Thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. So he tells the woman that your desires, all your desires, is going to come from your husband. And he shall rule over thee. So what the hell you got a woman preaching in the church for? It says that the man, your husband, he shall rule over thee. See, that was woman punishment for failing not to listen to their husbands. The Most High God said that a man shall rule over a woman. That all the woman's desires shall come from the man, and the man shall rule over the woman. So what the hell you got the woman trying to rule over the man for? What the hell you got a woman trying to preach in church for? What you got all these evangelists for? All these missionaries for? All these women preaching in the church? If you a woman and you preaching in the church, you out of order. You out of order. If you a woman, if you preaching in church, you out of order. See, they not really truly going by this Bible. A lot of these women are not truly going by this Bible, because if a woman really knew her position, she'll sit her ass down and stop trying to take lead in the church. Because throughout the Bible, it says this throughout the Bible, that women are not permitted to speak in the church. It says that. It tells a woman's desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over thee. So if you want to get edified, dealing with the Bible, a woman, go to your husband and teach. Let your husband teach you. A woman is not to teach the Bible. A woman's supposed to go to her husband and let her husband edify her on God's word. She's not supposed to be trying to teach no congregation of people. See, this shit is all out of order today. Now, why was the man punished? Why was Adam punished? Let's see why Adam was punished. Genesis 3:17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife. That's why Adam was punished. Adam wasn't punished because of the sin what Eve did. Adam was punished because he listened to the voice of his wife. See, he listened to the voice of his wife. He let his wife entice him to eat of the fruit. He listened to the voice of his wife. That's why a lot of you niggas, you got to learn to get over the emotion of the black woman. You got to learn to get over that emotion of the black woman. You got to learn to get over that emotion, because sometimes when a woman don't get what they want, they go to pouting. They go to pouting and they give you that puppy look. You got to learn to get over that shit. You got to learn to get over the emotions of a woman, because she'll drag you down every time. Most men in the Bible, mostly every man in the Bible felt to a woman. Adam felt to Eve. Samson fell to Delilah. King David fell to Bathsheba and committed adultery. Think about that. Just think about that, man. And Samson was the strongest man in the Old Testament, and he fell to a woman because he could not get over the emotion of a woman. Because he's supposed to be manning up. He's supposed to be leading, but he let the woman get the best of him. That's what Adam did in the Garden of Eden. Let the woman get the best of him. If you're a real man, a woman ain't gonna run shit if you're a real man. Tell your woman you the man. Tell your woman I ain't gonna hearken to you. The only time I'm gonna hearken to you if you giving reasonable advice. If you giving reasonable advice, I will hearken to you. If you come to me with that bullshit, I'm not gonna hearken to you. Because we know every man that hearkened to a woman in the Bible, guess what? Death and destruction. Come on, man. When we gonna really be real men? If your woman preaching the church, tell her to sit her ass down. If you see any woman preaching in the church, have some balls and stand up and tell her that it's not permitted for them to speak in the church. Come on, man. I don't even got to show y'all this stuff in the Bible. Y'all know where this stuff at. Josh Bussey, Matthew Dow Anderson, Makisha Thrower, Wanda Smith, Wesley Kennan, Ronnie Graham Jr. Y'all know where this stuff in the Bible. I don't even have to show y'all this stuff. The scripture says when a woman prophesy, that don't mean teaching the church. A woman can prophesy, but a woman can't teach a mass congregation of people. A woman is not to teach a mass congregation of people. Now she can prophesy if she want to, because she can share the word of God among her friends. She might have some lady friends that come over and they can sit and discuss and share the word of God. She can prophesy among her lady friends, but she are not to lead a mass congregation of people, because a man have to fulfill that office. It ain't nowhere in the Bible where a woman led a mass congregation of people. Nowhere in the Bible. From Genesis to Revelation. Nowhere in the Bible. But we let these women just do anything today. We let these women just run all over us today, man. Because there's no order in America, man. America is Babylon. This wicked city, America is Babylon, man. There's no order in this place, man. This place is finished, man. This place is finished. And no one can refute what I'm saying, because it's the truth. If I'm saying something wrong, please give me a book, chapter, and verse in the Bible. I want to see it. I've been doing this way too long. I know what I'm talking about. Please give me a book, chapter, and verse in the Bible that tells where a woman is leading a mass congregation of people. It's not in there and never will be. This is why Christ told that Samaritan in St. John chapter 4. Let's go there. Let's go to St. John chapter 4. Let's see what Christ tells the Samaritan. Watch this. This is St. John chapter 4. This speaks about Christ at the well. Watch this. St. John 4 and 5. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria. Samaria was northern Israel, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Jacob gave that landmass to his son Joseph. John 4 and 6. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus, therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well. And it was about the 6th hour, right? John 4 and 7. There came a woman. Now, keep in mind, this is a woman. There came a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus said unto her, give me to drink. John 4 and 8. For his disciples was going away into the city to buy meat. Okay. Watch this. John 4 and 9. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou being a Jew? Because Christ was from the tribe of Judah, the 4th son of Jacob. How is there been a Jew asked drink of me, which I am a woman of Samaria? You see that? So most likely this was a Hamitic, a woman of Hamitic descent. Okay, a Samaritan, right? For the Jews have no dealings with Samaritans because Samaritans are heathens, right? Better yet known as Gentiles. John 4:10. Jesus answered and said unto her, if thou knew the gift of God and who it is that said to thee, give me to drink, thou would have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. John 4:11, the woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Because Christ wasn't talking about physical water. She didn't understand. John 4:12, art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself and his children and his cattle? John 4:13, Jesus answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. John 4:14, but whosoever drinketh of the water that I give him shall never thirst again, because he was talking about that spiritual water. All right. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of springing up into everlasting life. Watch this. John 4:15. The woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water. Now you know what that water is? That water on a symbolic level. Now in John 4:15, that woman asked Christ, she said, give me this water. Basically, I want these spiritual teachings. I want to give me this spiritual edification. Can you edify me? Can you give me this spiritual knowledge? Let's see what the Messiah said. She said, give me this water that I thirst not, neither come here to draw. John 4 verse 16. Jesus said unto her, go call thy husband and come here. Now, why did Jesus tell that Samaritan, I'm not giving you nothing. I'm not giving you no damn water. I'm not giving you the living water. If anything, he said, go call your husband. Why did he tell that Samaritan to go call her husband? Huh? Just think about that. Because woman was in no position to teach anything. And truth be told, these pastors should not be edifying these women if they don't have the husband consent. Listen to me. So if you're preaching to a woman in the church, you don't supposed to tell that woman nothing in spiritual matters. You don't supposed to preach or teach that woman unless you get consent from that woman's husband. Now, if that woman's husband give you the permission to preach to her, that's okay. But if you are preaching to a woman and you don't have that woman's husband consent, you shouldn't preach to that woman. This is what the Messiah is telling the Samaritan. The Samaritan told the Messiah, she said, give me some of that living water. He said, go call your husband, because that's who truly I'm supposed to be teaching the scriptures to. I'm really supposed to be teaching the word to your husband, because you don't supposed to teach the word to the lesser vessel. You're supposed to teach the word to the greater vessel. So if any man gonna edify somebody on God's word, he's supposed to teach that man. He don't supposed to teach that woman. Unless that woman's husband give that man consent to teach her. See, so a lot of shit is out of order, man. A lot of shit is out of order. How many pastors today in the church are teaching a whole lot of women in the church without that woman's husband's consent? The woman's husband ain't even give you permission to teach her, but you don't give a damn. You're doing it anyway. How many people in the church, how many pastors, ministers, clergymen, priests, how many men in the church are teaching these women without that woman's husband consent? That's out of order, man. Watch this. John 4:15. The woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water. And we know that ain't talking about literal water. We know that ain't talking about water out the sink. That's talking about the spiritual edification of the scriptures. Give me the spiritual edification. Give me this sacred knowledge that I would thirst not, neither come here to draw. Jesus said unto her, he said, call your husband and come here. Right? All right, guys, you follow me? Jesus said unto her, call your husband. Check. So Jesus told that Samaritan, I'm not giving you the spiritual water. Call your husband. Because that's how things really supposed to be done. You don't supposed to teach no woman without that woman's husband consent. Call your husband and come here. And then it goes on into something else about the woman saying, I have no husband and all that. But that's what I wanted to point out, man. You see that? So, yeah, woman is out of order, man. Watch this. Watch this, guys. Ezekiel 34 and 31. And ye, my flock, the flock of my pasture are men. See, the Most High ain't never put no woman up to teach. The Most High ain't never put no woman up to lead no congregation. The Most High ain't never put no woman up to instruct and teach no church. Ezekiel 34 and 31. And ye, my flock, the flock of my pastor are men, and I am your God, said the Lord. So the flock of the Most High pastor was always men. It was never woman. Women are not supposed to teach in the church. When is you men gonna step up and let these women know this? Come on. I guarantee you, if you was married to a woman that preached, I guarantee you if you was married to a female preacher, I guarantee you she wouldn't pay you no damn mind. She wouldn't give a fuck what you talking about. I'm going to tell you right now, if you was married to a female minister, she'll run your ass over. I'm going to tell you right now, because you gotta over enter and understand this. See, a female minister already thinks she a man. You ain't never noticed this. Most female ministers don't even have a husband. Most female preachers don't have a husband, and that's not by design. Most female preachers don't have a husband. Most female preachers that you see out here, they single, and that's not by design. Why in the hell most female preachers are single? Because they know if they had a husband, he wouldn't go for that shit. I'm going to tell you right now, man. Like it or love it or leave it. I really don't give a fuck. Because I'm going to tell you just like that. If you can't take the heat, get out the damn kitchen, man. Because I'm doing this out of love. I'm doing this out of love. You can't smile and you can't smile all the time. You can't sugarcoat the word of God all the time. You can't do it. Watch this. No woman's supposed to preach in the church. Wait a minute, guys. Look at here. This is Acts and 38. Remember Philip? Remember Philip? Philip the disciple, one of Christ's disciples? Acts 8 and 30. And Philip ran there to him. Because this talking about Thomas. Not Thomas. I believe, let me see. Let me go back up. I don't want to be wrong. No, this talking about Philip. In Acts chapter 30, this talking about Philip, how he baptized Ethiopian. Acts 8 and 30. And Philip ran there to him and heard him read the prophet Isaiah. That's Isaiah in Greek. So Philip ran to this certain guy, this Ethiopian, and he was reading the prophet. He was reading the scroll of Isaiah. And he said, understand thou what thou readest? So Philip, the disciple, asked the Ethiopian, do you understand the scroll of Isaiah? Because the Ethiopian was reading the scroll of Isaiah. So Philip asked this Ethiopian, he said, do you understand what you're reading? Let's see what the Ethiopian responded to Philip and said. Acts 8 and 30. He said, how can I accept some man shall guide me, not a woman? How can I accept some man shall guide me? Because men should be guiding the congregation. Men should be leading the congregation. Men should be preaching in the pulpit. How can I accept some man guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him. And Philip taught him the scriptures. The Ethiopian said, I cannot understand except some man guide me. No woman is in the position to teach. And that's why every church I don't went into and told women about that, they throw me out and they call the police on me. Every church I tried to go in and tell women about that, how women are not supposed to preach, they escorted me out the premises and they called the police on me. But that's okay, because the Messiah said, blessed are thou that are persecuted for his name's sake, and who teaching the truth and preaching in sincerity. He said, blessed are the ones that are persecuted. He said, because the servant is not greater than his master. Because if they persecuted me first, they will persecute you. And this is exactly what's been done to me. I've been persecuted. I've been stoned. I've been rejected for giving the truth. Shalom, family and friends.